My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. When I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So if you too are daft for Donald, then this is a podcast for you. Or maybe the Disney novice, currently thinking about or maybe planning your first ever trip to Walt Disney World, and you think that pin trading is only for people who work in haberdashery. Well, this really is the podcast for you. Every week, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans from all around the UK to share their memories of their magical times. And this week, Chris, as well as talking about Walt Disney World, we talk about what it's like to travel with a 5-year-old.
And then there was some sleep and some more food and then some more TV. So it was fine. It was good.
I'm also going to be answering your Walt Disney World questions, getting the latest news from the parks, and if you're about to head over to Orlando, everything you need to know to have the most magical journey. Make sure you keep in touch with us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are at PodMagical. This is the most magical podcast on earth as part of the Secret Recordings Network. Hi to Julie, who is a brand new listener to the podcast. And she said, well, there was something you mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I can't get my head around. What is the whole thing about getting extra fast passes after you've used your allocation? You forget this sometimes, that people who've never been to Walt Disney World before can get very confused about fast passes. So as it goes, you're entitled to 3 fast passes a day, which you can book in advance. You can book these 60 days in advance if you're staying on Walt Disney World property, or you can book them 30 days in advance if you're not staying at Walt Disney World property. The 3 fast passes have to be at the same park. And once you have used those fast passes, you can then get a 4th fast pass. Once you've used that one, you can then get a 5th fast pass. However, for your 4th fast pass onwards, you can go to any park. So, for example, maybe day 1 of your holiday, you're planning to go to Magic Kingdom and you're going to stay all day at Magic Kingdom. My advice to you would be, if you've got jet lag, you're kind of going to be up really early, so don't put your fast passes earlier on the day. Because of jet lag, you'll be at Magic Kingdom before it opens. And when it opens, it's a bit quieter than it is later on in the day. So keep your fast passes for kind of like late morning, early afternoon into the evening. Maybe later on in the trip, you're thinking, do you know what? Maybe we might have half a day at Epcot, maybe half a day at Hollywood Studios. So make sure you book your 3 fast passes for early on in the day in Epcot. And then once you've finished at Epcot, you then open for your 4th fast pass to go to any other park. To get that 4th fast pass, go into your My Disney Experience and add a fast pass. Or, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, which I think is where the confusion came from, you don't actually have to be on My Disney Experience. There are kiosks at every park where you can also book and alter fast passes. So there you go. I think that's the way we have explained fast passes. However, there is an extra fast pass that you can get every day at Magic Kingdom, and not a lot of people know this. You can get a fast pass to go on Pirates of the Caribbean without even going into the app. You can have your 3 fast passes for Magic Kingdom and then get a 4th for Pirates of the Caribbean. And not a lot of people know how to get this, and that will be Andy's top tip of the week this week at the end of this week's podcast. There's a tease to keep you listening. Don't forget, if you have a question or you want to be on the podcast like this week's guest, Chris, get in touch. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we are at PodMagical. And to this week's guest, Chris. Tell me what you love about Walt Disney World, Chris.
I think one of the best things is that, generally speaking, people are nice to one another. And in a world where, there's so much division and people being generally not very nice to one another, it's just lovely to see everyone from all over the world just being kind and enjoying themselves and getting the best out of life. And that's something that is unique, I think, about Disney. And yeah, I love all the magic and the things that the people usually say on the podcast, but for me, that is just the most lovely thing to see as you walk around.
Is it your happy place, would you say?
I think it probably is, yeah. Since I was young, it's always been somewhere that I've sort of associated with that sense of happiness, absolutely.
So how many times have you been, and kind of like, who did you go with?
So the first time I went was 1999, and I was a child there. I should stress that. I'm not that old. So I was like 10 maybe in 99. So it was still all very magical and very real to me then. And we've been kind of, I want to say most years after that. So quite regularly, usually with my family, so with my mum and dad and my brother, and then as the years have gone on with partners, and now I've gone full circle and I take my own child and my wife, so it's been a kind of generational thing, which is great.
So how old is your little one?
He's 5.
So he's at that really cute little age.
Yeah, he is cute, but he's not really been kind of indoctrinated into Disney in the same way that maybe me and my generation have. He's kind of come to it slightly later perhaps, and doesn't necessarily know all the characters yet, so he's kind of building up that knowledge as we speak.
I like how you said yet.
Yeah,
it sounds like Dad is going to bring him into the way of Disney.
Of course, yeah.
Born as a Disney child. Absolutely.
It's going to be a slow burner, but absolutely he's going to eventually learn to love it, because we've been once already and it was a kind of a mixed bag, but he's going to get there for sure.
Did he have happy moments and sad moments for his first time?
Of course, yeah. I think so. He's probably not the world's bravest child, shall we put it that way? He's not completely wimpy, but he needed, we've never been to a theme park before, so throwing him in at the deep end and going to Orlando was very kind of extreme for him. And when you're a kid, it's such a sensory experience and it's kind of an attack on all your senses at once. So I think there was a little bit of a sense of being overwhelmed perhaps at times. So I guess the lesson that I learned from that was just to kind of take it easy, be gentle, go on small things first before kind of building up to maybe the more extreme rides.
Yeah, I suppose at 5 though, because you've got that height, there's probably nothing too extreme. What was the most extreme thing you could go on at 5?
He's quite a tall lad, so you can get away with things, but probably we weren't that willing to push it. I think probably the things like the Barnstormer in Fantasyland, that's probably the max. I think he could have probably gone on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, but he didn't fancy it. So I think
it was Chris who was on one of the podcasts last year who took his daughter on that, and she said, "Daddy, please make it stop."
Yeah.
Obviously you can't.
That was the vibe that I was definitely trying to avoid.
And how was the flight taking a 5-year-old over to America?
Yeah, no, it was fine actually. Most children these days, they're kind of as long as they're entertained visually with something and the food is brought to them, they're kind of cool with it. So the entertainment system kept him occupied for a fair while. And then there was some sleep and some more food and then some more TV. So it was fine. It was good. Yeah,
Sounds like he got on easier than I usually get on a long flight.
Yeah,
I'm the one who gets grouchy on a long flight.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too, actually. But he's quite kind of well-travelled for a 5-year-old. So this was the first long-haul flight that we've done with him. But he understands the format of getting on a plane. So, yeah, we were fortunate in that regard.
So what is your favourite memory, that one single memory, either from when you were a child or going with your little boy? Have you got one standout memory?
There are a lot of things that you really remember. But I guess the kind of... the strangest memory that stands out that has been really special is actually leaving. So
what?
So I'm going to get at that. So this time when we went in October, I took the little one and we were leaving the park. We were leaving America, indeed, and it was we'd had a mixed experience, so the ups and the downs, and we weren't sure if this whole thing had been a bit of a mistake. But then on our way back, he said, "When can we go back?" And for me, that was just this is the start of something. This is the start of something magical. And as a Disney fan, you're just sort of yes, we can go back. We've got a reason. So that was and he then begins to kind of articulate all those experiences he's had and all the things that he enjoyed. And hearing him recount those memories is just really lovely. So
better start saving.
Better start saving, exactly.
So in terms of your favourite things, are you the kind of person who stays on Disney property or do you like to stay off-site?
So we haven't, but stayed on property. But more and more, and the more I listen to the podcast, it's something that I really want to do. So we tend to stay in villas because we have family, and it kind of, it is a bit cheaper probably. There might not be that much in it, but it is a bit cheaper, and it's kind of a little bit more accessible, and you can kind of go and chill and do other things in Orlando, which is something we like to do. But yeah, we'd really like to do a full immersive experience. Now he's into it a little bit more, and the family are into it. I think it's something that we can build towards.
So you say you like to do other things in Orlando outside Disney. What else do you like to do? Have you found any like cool little things that we haven't been talking about yet?
There was a one a while ago. I think it was a lady who was talking about like the natural springs. They're really cool to go to, but also the Bok Tower, which is like lovely gardens, which is kind of just outside Orlando, but is a lovely like day out for a nice walk if it's not too hot. And there's got some amazing like scenery, a nice tower that you can look at and a really cool view. But something that we really like to do as a family is going to the beach. So Daytona, Clearwater, go down to Tampa, maybe even South Beach in Miami if you can stomach the drive. Like, they're amazing.
How far is that?
Beaches. It's like, it's probably about, I want to say it's like 2.5, 3 hours in the car.
And you would just go for the day, though?
Yeah, you can go for the day. Yeah, you can get up early and spend the whole day. We have been down there and stayed over for a couple of nights before, which is really nice if you can afford it. But going to the beaches is an absolute must. They're so amazing.
We're going to get the latest news now, and we haven't even touched on the parks yet and what you love about the parks. So we're back with Chris and his favourite attraction and his favourite restaurant and his favourite hotels. Kansas City Chiefs were the winners of last weekend's Super Bowl, which meant the team got their day out at Walt Disney World on Monday. You might have seen the adverts that have been going on for all of history, where the winning team say, I'm going to Walt Disney World. In fact, Patrick Mahomes, who led the Kansas City Chiefs to the win, he tweeted years and years ago that he'd love to be the player that says, I'm going to Walt Disney World on the adverts. Well, last weekend they were at Walt Disney World. You can have a look at the parade over on Disney Parks YouTube. We'll put that out as well on our socials, on our accounts. But also as well, quite interesting to know, the wait times during the Super Bowl. Last Sunday afternoon when it was happening, Sunday evening our time, the wait times were really low. I think at one point it was 10 minutes for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So a lot of people say, when's the quietest time to go to Walt Disney World? Well, when the Super Bowl's on. I mean, it's only one day, but if you're going for a week, you can work it around that time. February's quite a nice time to go. It's usually a bit quieter, weather's a lot drier and a bit cool, so maybe. Also, if you're looking at going to the dessert parties over at Magic Kingdom for Happily Ever After, some of them now include booze. So if you're watching the fireworks from Tomorrowland Terrace, that's $99 for adults and $59 for children. If you are over 21, that also includes beer and wine. Also, the after fireworks dessert party, where you watch the fireworks in the Plaza Gardens and then have your desserts afterwards, the price of that also includes booze as well. That's $89 for adults and $69 for children. If you don't want the alcohol, you want a cheaper version, the Plaza Garden before fireworks party. So you have your desserts first and your drinks, not including booze. Then you go and watch the fireworks in Plaza Garden. That's $79 for adults and $47 for children. And finally, Disney Photo Pass photographers are offering a new service, the Capture Your Moment add-on. If you want a 20-minute private session with a Disney Photo Pass photographer, it's $50 for 20 minutes, which is quite good because, you know, if there's a special moment you want to capture, for example, if you're thinking of proposing in front of Cinderella Castle, you want to get that moment, $50, capture that moment forever. If you want to book longer sessions, obviously $100 will get you 40 minutes. That's just an add-on for your Disney Photo Pass. Don't forget, you can keep up to date with all the news over on our socials. Give us a like, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just look out for @PodMagical. Chris is this week's podcast guest, and we haven't even really started talking about Walt Disney World yet. So let's get back to the parks. What's your favourite attraction?
I think my favourite attraction is probably Everest. I just think as a total experience, it was like really amazing. It was the first time I rode it this year, and I thought it was incredible. And then I learned on the podcast about all the little things, like it's silent on the way up, and I'd never noticed that, and it's like just makes it such an incredible experience with the Yeti and everything. So that is an absolute must attraction for me.
The Disco Yeti.
Exactly, the Disco Yeti, yeah.
What about parades and shows or fireworks? Have you got a favourite?
We were really lucky this time because it was Halloween when we went. So we went to the Halloween party, and the Halloween parade with the Headless Horseman at the beginning is really cool. The costumes are exceptionally good. And then the Halloween show at the end of the night with the projections on the castle, with the dancing skeletons and everything, is amazing. Obviously, like the usual parades are really cool, but these it feels like you've been let into something like really special, and you have because you paid like an extra $100. Like it is really cool. It's a really good experience.
A lot of people do organise their time to go around when the Halloween party is on, which is obviously August. To October these days. It's getting earlier and earlier. Was your little boy not frightened with the Halloween party?
No, and that was the great thing. Like it's so unfrightening in like a quite a tame Disney way, that it was really good. Like he loves the idea of Halloween but never really the concept. So this was a nice groundbreaker. And obviously the real reason to go is for the sweets, right? So for the trick-or-treating. And we as a family were going around, and we didn't even take it that seriously, but we were like, we could have, and we kind of weighed our candy afterwards, and it was like £7 worth of candy.
So how many bags was that? Because when I went, we got 4 bags. We brought 4, and that wasn't including what we ate as we were going around the park. And I didn't finish eating all mine till early January.
We are still going through it now. I'm trying to ration it out a bit.
And when was it you went?
October. So it's been like 5 months, 4 or 5 months. I mean, we got like 7 bags, and we could have gone really hard and tried proper hard to get more, and they would have been fine with it. They're throwing it away,
especially at the end of the night, they start filling up like handfuls. They're going.
Yeah, absolutely. You can give them a nice smile, and you get something extra, But that is a massive bonus if you can get a little bit of cash back via sweets.
Yeah, you get $100 each back on that.
Right.
But then you start worrying about how much it's going to weigh in your suitcase when you're flying home.
This was the problem, right? So we packed it all into one suitcase, which was then over the weight limit. So we'd had to do the awful thing at the airport where you'll then unpack it. Eat it, that would have been great. Unpack it, repack it, all your dirty clothes all over the floor of the airport. It was quite embarrassing, but it was worth it.
But you brought that candy back, and that's the main thing.
That's the main thing, and we got the cool bags that it goes in as well, so even better.
In terms of food, then, is there a particular favourite restaurant you like in the parks or any of the hotels?
So probably actually in Disney Springs, the restaurants in Disney Springs are incredible. They are so good.
Yeah.
So there's a couple that I really like. The one that is next to the one that's like a big boat. Is it called the Boathouse? I think it is.
Yes.
That is where the cars that drive into the water.
Yeah, the Boathouse.
Yeah. Boathouse, incredible, amazing food, really nice, amazing service. But my favourite is Jaleo. The tapas Spanish restaurant in Disney Springs. It is just fantastic, and if you can afford it, the tasting menu with the wine pairings is so good, so good.
Do you know how much that is roughly?
I want to say it's about $140 each, which is expensive, no doubt, but it is really, really worth it. The food is amazing. The chef will prepare the things he fancies, basically, it would seem, and it just kind of keeps on coming with some amazing wine. And top tip, the restaurant itself is absolutely lovely if you're sat inside, but if you go and sit outside, you can sit over the lake, and it's really relaxing. They play a bit of music out there. It's a nice little quiet experience. So you kind of feel like you're by yourself, which is lovely. Would
that be a daytime or nighttime thing? Because I suppose in the daytime, if you sat by the big lake there on the patio, that's quite nice, isn't it? Or
yeah, it is. I mean, I've been at both. The night was lovely, but both are fantastic. And the menu, I think, is quite similar from lunch to dinner as well. That will be my absolute top for food. For drinks, I'd like to give a little plug for my absolute favourite drinking place, which is Nomad Lounge in Animal Kingdom.
Yes, quite a little corner.
So nice. When it's really hectic and busy, Nomad Lounge, amazing cocktails, just really lovely service. You can sit outside if you want, which is lovely. You just kind of get away from it a little bit, but you're not too far away. You can pop in. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and a lot of people can't find that, but that's right as you're going into Pandora, just on your right, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. Next to that other big restaurant, the name escapes me.
Yeah, it's the bar that's attached to the restaurant.
Yeah.
Is it Tiffin's?
Yeah, Tiffin's, yeah.
There you go. I remember that.
Good knowledge.
Having been now for, over 20 years, is there anything that is no longer at Walt Disney World that you really miss? Do you think, I wish they would have kept that, either a parade or a
There was a ride back in the day, a long time ago. I want to say it probably closed in 2002. That was called Alien Encounter. Do you remember that?
Is that the one that then became Stitch's Great Escape?
It did,
and it's now nothing.
It was in Tomorrowland, yeah, and it was without shadow of a doubt the most terrifying experience I could have possibly wished for, which is great if you're a bit of an adrenaline junkie. But they strapped you in, there were bars that came across your hands and you couldn't move. And then there was an alien breathing down your neck, and the alien escaped from the tank. And you're thinking, man, is this still Disney?
It's torture.
It was honestly horrifying. I don't know if I wish it was still there to an extent, but I kind of wish that more people had experienced it, because I think they closed it down quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
And most people don't know what you're talking about when you say about it. I wish that was still there, I guess.
In terms of tips, in terms of planning, have you got anything that you would like to share with the group?
I like that it's a group. That's lovely.
It's a group.
Yeah.
Disney addicts.
Anonymous. So I guess I would say relax a little bit if you can. You're on holiday. And the thing that I learned about going last time, for the first time with a kid really, was if you try and over plan, you're never, unless you are absolutely regimental, you're never going to stick to it, and it kind of detracts from the fun a little bit. So I backed off a little bit with the usual kind of frenetic planning, and even backed off a little bit with the amount we tried to do whilst we were on holiday. We were only there for a short time this time, 10 days, so we only did a couple of Disney parks, and that was actually a really lovely experience. We took our time, we did a few bits. We know that at some point, we will go back, which is nice. I guess not everyone can do that. But if you can just enjoy it and relax it and take your time, I think that is a much better experience overall. Doing
less but enjoying more.
I think so, yeah. And if you can sample some of the food and the drinks and take it easy a little bit and not get kind of too swept up with the crowds, and you can enjoy things maybe from afar because you're kind of walking around and you go, oh, there's a parade. I haven't sat here for 45 minutes waiting for it. Then I think you have a bit of a better experience, perhaps.
Have you got another trip planned?
Not right now. I think we'll probably try and go back not next year, so 2021 at some point. But we haven't got it. We haven't got it mapped out. But again, I think we would probably try and go again for a couple of days, which, by the way, is really difficult to do if you want to try and get your fast passes sorted, because buying a 2-day ticket, for example, firstly is really hard from the UK.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And then secondly, obviously, you only get 30 days in advance. So getting fast passes for stuff is super difficult. But you can get lucky, obviously.
Well, it's been great talking to you, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Great talking to you.
And have a magical day.
Have a magical day.
You fancy joining me on the podcast for a chat one week to talk about Walt Disney World and your love and your favourite things? We're always looking out for guests. Get in touch at Podmagical, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Don't forget, if you're about to head over to Orlando, remember us when you're out there. Tag us in your photographs. If you are going, weather's pretty nice. Should be mostly dry. Temperatures hovering around the mid-20s. The parks shouldn't be too busy either. Obviously, we've got the half-term holidays for the UK in a couple of weeks' time, so that's going to be busy. Epcot Festival of the Arts continues. The Mardi Gras at Universal, with some big names later on. The nearer you get to Easter, that's when the bigger names like Diana Ross and Earth, Wind & Fire are going to be at Universal. There's a few things opening, including a new place to eat at Epcot, the Regal Eagle Smokehouse. It's kind of like your barbecue fast food type place. That's going to be open at the American Pavillion. And also, if you're heading over to Hollywood Studios, have a look at the new canopy, the new outdoor entrance to Minnie and Mickey's Runaway train. It only opens in March, but the new frontage has been put up last week, so you can go and have a look at that. Tempt yourself. Andy's top tip of the week this week is something that you might have not done or might have not even known about at Magic Kingdom that could land you some extra special treasure. This is over in Adventureland towards Pirates of the Caribbean. In fact, it's connected to Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a pirate's adventure. Treasures of the Seven Seas. So once you've gone past the entrance to Pirates of the Caribbean, head your way over because Captain Jack needs your help. This is free to participate. You need to use your magic band to pick up a magic talisman, which is like a special card for this attraction. You head over to the Crow's Nest at Adventureland. This is where you go. There's 5 different missions that you can do. Each one takes about 20 minutes to complete. And when you've completed all 5 missions, you get your hands on the 6th and final card, which is signed by Captain Jack Sparrow. And who knows, there might be an extra bit of treasure in that. In other words, a fast pass to Pirates of the Caribbean that not a lot of people know about. You can play that usually most afternoons when it is open. That's a Pirate's Adventure over at Adventureland at Magic Kingdom. Have you got any top tips of your own? Let me know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Podmagical is where we are. Same place to go if you want to be a podcast guest one week and talk about your love of Walt Disney World. Don't forget, we've got regular podcasts every Friday. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, hit that subscribe button. We'd also love if you gave us a 5-star review and left a lovely comment as well. We'd love you forever. And until next time, please stand clear of the doors.